Hello everyone, my name is Carlos with Advanced Roofing Systems. Today's re-roof project is here in Gardena. I'd like to walk you through our roofing process and show you our system. The first part of the system is our catch-all netting system, which provides protection, safety, and keeps the job site clean. Our crews are a little fast, so they tore off the shingles while we were filming the introduction. Currently, they're removing the nails so we could roll up the underlayment and expose the deck. While the guys are at lunch, I'll show you some of the wood that we're replacing. On this job, we needed to replace some shiplap, plywood, and fascia. So before our inspection, we cut our ridge ventilation. And the way we did that is we cut 1.5 inches on either side to make a 3-inch gap. So I keep saying system. What I mean by that is that every manufacturer has a specific system in order for you to get their full manufacturer's warranties. In this particular case, we're using GAF. GAF system consists of part 1, which is the leak barrier. A leak barrier is a material that we use in critical areas of the roof. In this particular roof, the critical areas that we have leak barrier applied to are the AC unit, as you see we put it around, pipe flashings or pipes, and as mentioned before, because it's 3 and 12 pitch, we're putting it all along the eaves. We will also be applying it in the valleys. Another area that we'll be applying the leak barrier is along the roof wall section. Now, I want to tell you something about the leak barrier. All manufacturers have some sort of leak barrier as part of their system. And the reason why is it's self-adhering, meaning it sticks to the deck, but self-sealing. And what that means is that if I drive a nail through it, the material seals itself around it, preventing any water from coming in. This is a really important step to make sure that your new roof does not leak. So the next part of the system is the Tiger Paw. Tiger Paw is a synthetic underlayment by GAF. It is 10 times stronger than your standard 30 felt and more energy efficient. In this particular case, as mentioned before, we're putting double underlayment because the pitch isn't enough to just apply one layer of underlayment. As you can see, we've already started installing our drip metal and then putting our underlayment on top. Now, most contractors use a 2x2 piece of drip metal, but most manufacturers require that you have 3 inches of coverage on the roof deck. So we use 4 inches to make sure that we cover most manufacturers' specifications. The next part of the system is the starter course. This starter course is installed all around the perimeter. The reason why you need a starter course is that when you come along the edge and install your shingles, there is a seam there. So the starter works as a water barrier to prevent any water coming in this seam. Another feature of the starter is that it has an adhesive strip at the bottom. You always want to have this adhesive strip at the bottom and not at the top, as I've seen some roofers do. But the purpose of this adhesive strip is that it adheres to the shingles so that when you have strong winds, these shingles are adhered to the starter and will not blow off. So as you can see, our guys have already started with the shingle installation. A couple of things to note. You will notice our chalk lines to help us keep the installation straight and keep our scale. We also started putting the pipe flashings over the existing pipes. So in line with the metal installation, on this part of the roof, we have already installed the tin shingles. On top of those tin shingles, if you see a chalk line above it, that's where we put our counter flashing. And what we do is we cut into the wall and put our counter flashing there to seal up the tin shingle. So this is one of the details that really matter. A lot of people don't notice, but it's super important. In this particular case, we have an AC unit or old condenser unit. As you may have noticed from before, we put leak barrier underneath. Then we put our underlayment. In this case, after we've done all that, we have our underlayment. We put mastic all around the flashing, the existing flashing, and now we're installing leak barrier on top of it once again. Again, what we're trying to avoid is any leaks caused by any holes or damage onto this existing metal flashing, so that when we finish installing our roof system, we know that everything is covered tight. So, you know, we've been talking about a system, and one of the things I want to point out is that we've been using the GAF system from the starter to the leak barrier, underlayment, and shingles. In this particular case, we're using the GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, which are considered cool. Here in Southern California, or California, there's a Title 24 requirement. These shingles comply with that. And basically what it is that it keeps the home cooler because it has some reflective granules that reflect some of the heat. So now we're at the valley. The way we did the valley is called the California Valley. And what we did is we took the shingles from this side of the valley and we brought them over to the other side. Then what we do is we take one line and go across from the bottom all the way to the top, and then we bring the shingles from this side up and over to the line. This is the California Valley. So another part of the system which we have mentioned before is ridge ventilation. Okay, when I say we mentioned it before, is right after we finished our wood replacement, we cut 1.5 inches on either side of the ridge to create a 3-inch gap. Now, if you guys forget about everything else that we've talked about, you don't want to forget this. Ventilation is a critical component of roofing. The reason why is on a 100-degree day outside, your attic will get about 150 and 170 degrees. If we don't remove that heat, it'll cause a lot of damage. Most of the damage that we see in roofs today are caused because of improper ventilation. Now in this case, we're putting ridge ventilation over a garage, and we've added an O'Hagan vent as intake. The reason we're doing that is because this garage has a ceiling, therefore it has attic space. And while putting the Cobra ventilation will help with the exhaust, it needed some intake. So ventilation requires two parts, intake and exhaust. And the last part of our roofing system are the ridge caps. The ridge caps are the final touch to make the roof look good. Too often I've seen roofers take a shingle and just fold it over the ridge. That not only looks terrible, but they end up cracking in the center and becoming a leak problem. So the other part of the metal is the counter flashing. In this case, this counter flashing here. Now, as you know from our earlier videos, we put our tin shingles in first, which you can see here, and then we cut a hole in the wall to be able to put our counter flashing. That counter flashing goes all the way up and will protect us if there's any wind-driven rain or rain that hits the wall. We have our tin shingle here and our counter flashing there. Now, before you criticize us, we will have to put some caulking on top of the counter flashing to seal it up and prevent any water intrusion. So for the most part, these guys are going to finish this roof up today. And I just wanted to give thanks to Gonzalo's crew that actually works every now and then. But more importantly, when they do work, they do good work, as you can see. So here's the completed roof now. You will note that we've got all the flashings and pipes painted to match the color of the roof. Our counter flashing is painted and sealed at the top with neoprene screws in the top so that we don't have any water penetration. We have our ridge ventilation over the ridge. We have the O'Hagan's intake ventilation. And again, we have all the pipes and its flashings painted to match the roof. This is the finished product.